Hello and welcome to another Decent Trader Market Update. I'm Philip Swift, analyst here at Decent Trader, and today I'm going to talk to you about Ethereum, which we think looks particularly bullish right now, and we're going to talk you through some price targets and where we see it going over the next few months. Before I do, please subscribe to the channel by hitting the subscribe button below, and also hit the like button as well, please, as that really helps us to grow the channel. And finally, nothing I say in these videos should be misconstrued as financial advice. Everything I share is for educational purposes only. Okay, so let's have a look at ETH now and do some quick technical analysis. So a Decent Trader, we've been talking about this pennant here. We're waiting for Ethereum to break out of it, which it did to the upside, and we got long. And since then, you can see we had the retrace over the weekend, the past few days, but Ethereum is bouncing back particularly hard, and we're going to look at some reasons why we believe that is happening. Right now it's pushing up to all-time highs, trying to make those all-time highs. Near-term targets, we're using a Fibonacci retracement here of this move, and so we are targeting in the near term at least the 2,800 area here. Before then, ultimately, we believe Ethereum is going to break through $3,000, and our first target after that would be around the 2.618 at around 3,250. But ultimately, we do think Ethereum is heading higher over the coming weeks and months. So also looking at Predator, which is one of our tools that we use over at Decent Trader. You can see really effective tool, and Predator across different time frames I have selected here. So we're looking at the 1 hour, the 4 hour, the 1 day and the 2 day charts, and you can see that Ethereum is Predator is showing green across those time frames. So on the 1 hour you can see it's turned green after a bit of choppy action here, and on the 4 hour, particularly interesting, you can see how effective Predator can be when volatility hits in the market. So Predator was telling us to go long here, it was green going into the weekend, before then telling us to get out ahead of that crash we had over the weekend, and then telling us to go long again here, and we've been long since further down here on the 4 hour. And the daily also green now today, turning green, and also on the higher time frames too. So looking good for Ethereum across Predator time frames. If you do want to gain access to Predator, it is available on the Decent Trader website. So you head over to decenttrader.com and then head over to the Predator page. And this is it here. You can watch a video tutorial about it, learn more about it before purchasing if you want to do so. Okay, so Predator looking, Ethereum looking good from a technical standpoint. We have some targets in the 3,000s range. Predator telling us that we are good to go long. And also, one thing that I've noticed that I find particularly interesting are funding rates for Ethereum at the moment. So funding rates, you can Google them if you want to learn more about them, essentially show us the extent to which leveraged traders on exchanges like Binance, Bybit are either long or short. If traders are particularly heavily leveraged to the long side, then we see these numbers here increase and reach levels of around 0.2 or 0.3 for Ethereum. So those are the sort of levels that we were seeing last week when traders were particularly greedy and going to the long side, and before we had the correction over the weekend where we saw some of these rates going negative. Now, what I'm finding particularly interesting for Ethereum at the moment is that even though we are breaking all-time highs today, funding rates are not particularly high across exchanges. They're starting to increase, but they're still not that high. Considering last week they were up at around 0.2. You can see over at Binance it's still pretty flat here, pretty neutral around 0.01, and some other exchanges like FTX are increasing a little bit, but anything below 0.1 we consider to be quite low. So funding rates look particularly good because if funding rates are this low, it means that leveraged traders are not getting greedy yet, and it does mean that the price of Ethereum could increase more sustainably to the upside. Another bullish factor, which I think we have to take into account for Ethereum, is when we look at the amount of Ethereum being held on exchanges, whether that's Coinbase or Binance, major exchanges like that. When we look at the amount of Ethereum being held on exchanges, we can see since the start of the year it has been significantly decreasing. So that's the blue line we're looking at here. This chart is courtesy of Glassnode, and we can see that that is decreasing over time. What does that tell us? Why is that important? It's important because it means that participants in the market are taking their Ethereum off exchanges, either putting it into cold storage wallets, or they are putting it to use in DeFi. Now, both of those factors are quite bullish because it means that the short-term liquid supply of Ethereum is being reduced, right? Because it is no longer on exchanges and no longer can be sold quickly. If people want to sell that Ethereum, they then have to put it back onto exchanges and then sell. And so this is showing us kind of the intent of Ethereum holders. It's showing us that they want to hold for the long term, and so they're taking their Ethereum off exchanges. So this is bullish. We saw something similar for Bitcoin. We've seen it for Bitcoin over the past year or so as price has also increased. And you can see the price of Ethereum, the grey line here, has an inverse relationship and is increasing. But this recent drop here we've seen over the past few weeks, I think is particularly bullish. You can see that the acceleration of Ethereum going off exchanges is happening over the past month or two. So a particularly bullish signal here for Ethereum, I think. Now looking long term, so yes, we are bullish in the short term, but we also have a particularly bullish long term view as well. So Phil B, founder at Decent Trader, you can see he has posted this chart on his TradingView account, so you can follow him on TradingView if you want to. And this is the EIP 1559 accumulation funnel chart. And so EIP 1559 is obviously some big fundamental news for Ethereum happening over the summer. If you want to know more about it, just Google it. But Philb has posted this chart here, which is the classic Livermore accumulation funnel. And you can see the pattern here on the chart is a process of accumulation on this widening cylinder shape here, before then forecasting an eventual breakout up to first stop a level of 0.07 for ETH BTC, before then a target of 0.1. Now Phil posted this several weeks ago, so if I make this live now, let's see how it's progressing so far. You can see it's progressing pretty well. ETH BTC has now started to approach the top of this funnel here, and we are expecting further increases in ETH BTC to ultimately break outside of this funnel. So far so good on this forecast, and like I say, you can follow this chart if you follow Phil on TradingView. So with these Ethereum price increases, what does it mean for Bitcoin dominance? Well, it means that dominance is decreasing and is likely to continue to do so over the coming weeks and months, which would open the door to an alt season of sorts as Ethereum outperforms Bitcoin. So you can see the dominance chart broke out of this massive triangle shape here and has come down to the first support level that we've been monitoring over at Decent Trader. So actually, if I just zoom in here, you can see we're starting to lose that support now as Ethereum outperforms Bitcoin this week as well. Our targets that we're looking at, given our bullishness for Ethereum and particularly the ETH BTC chart, is we are, with all its faults, the dominance chart, we are expecting to see a broad move down towards the low 40s, perhaps even mid to high 30s level in terms of dominance. So could be a very aggressive sell-off on the dominance chart going into the summer. And we do look like today, in the past couple of days, that we are seeing that continuation of a decline of the Bitcoin dominance chart as ETH outperforms. Okay, so that's it from me. Just a quick update on why we're bullish on Ethereum, both in the short term and further out going into the summer. If you want to see more analysis like that, or get access to various tools that we have at Decent Trader, head over to decenttrader.com. You can check out the tools and indicators we have, and if you want to sign up, you can also do that here with the various membership levels here. Alright guys, that's it from me. Hope you found that useful, and I will speak to you again soon.